What's up, guys? So I wanted to jump on here real quick and talk about something. I saw this. I saw this on my TikTok feed, and this is something that I have unfortunately done in the past, or without even knowing it. It's called trauma bond dating, and I didn't really think about it till after the fact. Of That was a situation I was in a couple of times, probably a few times. I remember a conversation I had with a female when we were dating, getting to know each other, and she wanted to talk about times that she didn't want to live, and then I talked about it, times I didn't want to, that I just wanted to take some pills and hope I don't wake up in the morning. There was a time I did feel like that. Looking back on it, because I remember waking up and I was fine. And then I said, you know what? Let me go, let me go and fix my life. Because my life is not going to get any better until I fix it. And so I know the situation and everything that kind of happened, and just how much my life was turned into a pile of shit. I mean, there's no question of that. At the time, this was like 2013. And then, and I was very alone. And I think what I did is I went and got a job, or which at the time, which those were good days back in the day when you could go get a job and get one. Now, yeah, we went from no one wants to work anymore to you're not good enough to work for us. So, and it wasn't that I refused to work. It wasn't anything of that nature. I was in a situation where I really didn't need to work for a while. And then just one thing after another. So I did that because I knew finances was part of why my life sucked. But I think also I needed to regain that self-esteem that had trampled due to an ex and all the bullshit she put me through. And then there was, she didn't just leave when I had her give me my keys and kicked her out of the house. She There was a lot. I remember her telling me this. She looked at me right before she got her last stuff and said, she made my life a living hell. I'm not going to get into it. Maybe in a future video I will. And then and she said, from now on, you'll always have to settle because I'm the best you'll ever get. Which I thought to myself, if this bitch is the best I'm ever going to get, well, shit, I might as well stay single. That's the best I'm ever going to get. She was a fucking problem. She was a liability. I'll talk about it in a future, I've since ran into her a couple of times and was relatively nice. I wasn't mean, or I wasn't, vengeful or hostile or whatever, but man, did I dodge a bullet getting rid of her when I did. Because I don't think she improved herself anymore when she really should have. And that's, so, yeah, when that happened, there was just a lot of, there was some, nothing too crazy, but there were some traumatic events that happened following her, or when I was with her. And then just, then I found out there were people looking for her. So there's no fucking, so that one got me a little paranoid. Nothing that came down on me. It was just, I had people calling me and like, yo, where the fuck is she? I'm just like, I don't know. I kicked her out of my house. We're done with, right? And so, anyways, to continue to wrap up the story here, that's after all that said and done, and then that in my computer, I think I spilled water on it accidentally, and then and then she was going to go get it fixed for me, and then after we broke up and kicked her out, she came to collect all her things, which I packed up for her. My computer was shattered, and that's a lot of my music and all kinds just gone. And I went to several shops, and everyone said, "Man, the price to fix this shit is gonna be it's gonna be more money than this is buy another computer." But I didn't have the money, so I just felt like at the time. So yeah, and on with the story. Um, so, and there were other things, man. There were a lot of things I was after that. I think, some time went by a little bit and things I was going through mentally. But looking back on it, man, I just don't think I have it. I don't think I have it in me to, wrap the rope around, so to speak, or to, I'm definitely not a cutter. I'm just, I don't know what, um, I'm kind of crazy. I got my mental issues, but I just don't know. To me, it's crazy that someone would want to do that. I just don't know what's going through your head that you want to like mutilate yourself. And I'm, you know what I mean? So, um, yeah. So that was something. And then, and I've talked about it a few times, but anyways, man, my main point of this video is, and I speak from experience because didn't realize I was doing this, but when you're trauma bonding, it really has a lot to do with the person you're talking to, and it seems like they have a lot of issues that they have a lot of past issues, past trauma they have not healed from. They haven't done the work, and and I'm gonna tell you this, man, when you don't do the work to try and heal yourself from really messed up things that happen to you, whether it be depression, abuse. I've never been to therapy, but I've heard many stories of how helpful it was. But also, it's just maybe you have to go on some spiritual journey to find a way how to walk, how to recover from that. And one of the issues that I see, and I'm guilty of doing it myself. I've also met females that I could tell because they would kind of go from guy to guy to guy, dating wise. A lot of that has to do with, obviously, like, I think we all know that one person, the second a relationship ends, they're with a new guy or a new girl or whoever the next day. And that's a clear sign of someone that is using relationships or using the opposite gender as like a healing, like that's their healing. That's their defense mechanism through the shit that they're dealing with, and that creates a lot of abusive relationships, and that makes things worse. That's the pain that you went through. You are putting that on someone else, and now you're causing them, and so the toxic cycle keeps moving. So I think it's important to have space in between relationships, especially if one, you know, ends badly, give it some time because you're just going to carry that on. I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of going from girl to girl, you know? And, and that, and a lot of times, man, that can just be the nature of life is that you just naturally meet someone, but you have to put your guard up and you have to, you know, you have to give yourself time. That's one of the things about healing that I've learned is time, but effort. And so, yeah, man, this whole trauma bonding thing, and I see a lot of crash outs on TikTok. And don't get me wrong, some of it I find kind of entertaining, but it's like really like I'm looking for a guy that'll do this, or I'm looking for a girl that does this, and it's just like I'm just like, man, you guys need to just take a break from dating. You're carrying a lot of baggage, a lot of emotional baggage, and you're which makes you not a fun person to be with at all because you have to carry that. Um, and yeah, as humans, we're not really the best at handling those things. So my heart goes out to people who've been through, a lot of trauma, but I mean, you can't say there's not resources. And I hate to say it, but crashing out on social media is not going to be always the best. I think you should have friends. You should have someone you can go to talk about these things because I'm telling you, you're going to feel way better. Be able to talk about it, and strangers on the internet is just not the place. Don't. So, uh, it's a lot. But yeah, guys. especially if someone is carrying a lot of trauma, a lot of emotional baggage, and you know, it's okay when you get to know each other. You kind of want to know where that person is from. But if your whole relationship is just you bonding, just off of having a fucked up past, it's never. I mean, it never goes well. Never goes well. I don't recommend it. Um, I believe there's a there's a sunlight. Let me say that right. I do believe that there is sunshine at the end of a dark tunnel. I've experienced myself. So yeah, guys. Anyway, that's all I really got to say. Man, I don't know, man. I just want to see people do good and people find happiness, and then, let all that shit you went through. Let that be your strength. You know, let that be your strength. Don't let it define you. And I hope the best for everybody. So you guys have a good night.